nieces and nephews, welcome back to Auntie Nell's Kitchen. Ooh, straighten up my little apron here. It says Auntie Nell's Kitchen, a little housekeeping, love, hugs, and kisses to you on the bottom. This was gifted to me. Okay, guys. Okay, today, and housekeeping first. Thank you all for your love and support to my channel. I really appreciate you guys hanging in here with me. And to my new nieces and nephews, thank you. And if you guys do Auntie a huge favor, I really would appreciate it. Hit that like button. Auntie, trying to get back into that algorithm, whatever they call it, okay? Today, we are going to be making brown stewed chicken, rice and peas, cinnamon baked plantains, okay? Yeah, we're heading to Jamaica. Crumbles. Okay, so give me a moment. I'm going to flip and swip, and we're going to get started. Okay, what I have here is 2 whole chickens that have been cut up, okay? Yep, 2 whole chickens that have been cut up. Now, if you're going to use 1 chicken, you're going to half the ingredients, okay? You're using 1 chicken, half the ingredients. Okay, first we must prepare our marinade. And what I have here, I'm going to be putting it in as I tell you what it is. Well, on this tray, I'm just going to pour it all in, okay? Right here, I have 4 tablespoons of green seasoning blend, Jamaican green seasoning blend. All this stuff is on the international food aisle. This is 2 tablespoons of browning. Now, to my dry seasonings, okay, I have 3 teaspoons of salt. I have 2 teaspoons of allspice. Jamaican pimento. It's allspice, okay? I have 2 teaspoons of black pepper. I have 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasoning. I have 2 teaspoons of paprika. And I have 2 teaspoons of ginger. Okay? Now, all right, and you can add garlic powder if you want to, in which I did not get. Hold on. I got it now. Got my garlic powder. Okay, I'm going to pour all of this in here. The 2 teaspoons of Cajun seasonings. It makes me cough. I'm going to get in my browning. The browning gives color. Really doesn't have a flavor to it. And I'm going to make sure Henny and Penny all get some attention. Now, when I did my chicken breast, use an electric knife. If you have hand problems, use an electric knife. Or if you can find a whole chicken that's cut up, which is rare, get that. They used to sell whole chickens cut up. You don't find them anymore. And I want to make sure it's all well coated. I want to make sure all my pieces are nicely coated. Okay, now you're going to let this marinate for 30 minutes. So I'm going to cover this and let it marinate for 30 minutes, okay? And I'll be back. Put it in the fridge. Okay, nieces and nephews, okay. This has marinated. I really let it marinate 45 minutes. I'm tell you what I got tired of doing. Sat down, to kill the time. Got to look in there, Sanford and Son. And so I said, you know what, let me finish my second episode. And so got my oil heating up. This is just some regular vegetable oil. We're not going to cook the chicken all the way. We're just going to give it a like a somewhat of a sear and a half, just to brown it a little bit. And we're going to put it in a bowl, and then we're going to presume our recipe. And I will give you the veggies I'm going to be using once we start this. But first, we're not going to move ahead too fast, okay? Because I want you all to make sure everything is done the way Auntie does her brown stew chicken. Okay, now the breasts are big, so I did cut my breasts up. One side of the breast ended up being 3 pieces, and but the breast is usually cut into 2 pieces each side of the breast. So that's how I got more than 8 pieces out of these each little henny penny. Okay, so I'm gonna let my oil heat up a little more, and I'll be back. Okay, our oil is hot, and I'm going to take my chicken and put it in here. I guess you noticed I'm starting off with my very large pieces first. My breast and my thighs. I hope everyone is doing well today. I want to get them good in there, but I don't want to overcrowd my pan. Let's see if I have a small piece in here that I can put in this spot here. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just browning. I just want to brown my chicken, and then I'll flip it and brown the other side, and then I'll put it into this bowl, okay? So I'm going to cook this chicken, brown it on each side, okay? And I have it on medium heat, okay? I am going to turn it over. That's not burnt, it's just a brownie. But you know, if you like a little char, you like a little char. So I'm going to let this brown, and then I'm going to brown a little bit, and then I'm going to transfer it to this bowl, and I'm going to do the second batch. And I'll be back once both batches are done. Then we're going to put it all back into a pan. Okay, nieces and nephews, this is all of our chicken. You see it's nicely browned. Not cooked all the way, and I've got a bigger pan, and this is what we have left of our remnants. I'm going to take all of that and scrape all that goodness in the pan. I'm going to scrape all of that goodness in here. These scrappiness, these little scringly, straggly things, that's flavor, and we want all our goodness. That over there, little housekeeping. And I'm going to place all the chicken into this. Everything is going to go, because this pan is going to take everything. Turn my wings over. Yeah, this pan is big enough to take it all. And I'll show you what we're going to be needing. Now, a lot of jerk chicken, usually at restaurants, their jerk chicken, they cut it up. They cut the chicken up in like pieces, like the drumstick. They'll cut the drumstick that way. I don't like it like that. I don't like my not jerk chicken, brown stew chicken. I don't like my brown stew chicken in pieces like that. I think it's better when I have whole pieces, but that's just my opinion and the way I cook it. I don't like, because the first time I had it, that's what turned me off on it. Buying it in a restaurant is the way the chicken is cooked. I don't want biting into bones and stuff like that. I don't like that. Put that stock in there. Okay. Okay, you're going to take 6. Well, no. I'm going to take 8 cups of water. Now, if this was 1 chicken, you will be using 4 cups of water. Yep, yum. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add, now I had Scotch bonnet peppers and I left them in the car, and you know, I don't need to say any more on that. So I have this Scotch bonnet pepper sauce, and it is hot, and I don't want it over hot. So I'm just going to add a teaspoon of that, just to give it just a tad bit of heat to that. Not too much heat. And I'm going to take my, I have a shaved carrot, and I have, this is a tablespoon of garlic. I have a tablespoon of dried thyme. You can add, fresh thyme if you want to. I just don't buy fresh herbs, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't use them enough to do all that. Okay, I have put my carrots in, and my garlic around a little bit. Okay, I have 1 sliced onion, bell pepper, green bell pepper, red and yellow peppers. I have 2 cut tomatoes, 2 diced up tomatoes. Gonna add all that in there. Throw that over there for a little housekeeping. And I'm gonna stir this all around. And I'm gonna leave this. Now, ketchup. You're going to need 1, for this, 2 chickens, you're going to be using a 1/2 cup of ketchup. Yep, you're going to be using a 1/2 cup of ketchup. Get all my goodness out of here. This is a 1/4, so 2 1/4 of ketchup. I got lazy and didn't feel like getting my 1/2 cup serving, and I'm going to mix all of this together, and I'm going to let it cook. I'm going to let all that stew down. We're going to let that stew down. And we're going to do a little housekeeping while that cooks. That's just a quick look. Look how good it's coming along. Just a quick look. We got our vegetables and our chicken. It's coming along really good. And see, this is why I don't like cutting my drumsticks up. I like my chicken pieces whole. To me, that's my opinion. No, this is the way I cook mine. I don't like it. I don't want my chicken drumsticks cut, because if you're gonna cut, who eats that? Seriously, who eats that part? I don't know anybody that eats that part. Well, I don't know anybody that eats that part. My friend Scylla used to say, I don't know how to eat chicken, because she said, you leave too much meat on a chicken bone. You don't know how to eat chicken. I didn't know it was a wrong or right way to eat chicken. So look at all these vegetables in here. It smells so good. And the thing I like about also, and using this too, instead of the Scotch bonnet pepper, I can control the heat, because the seeds in the Scotch bonnet peppers is what gives you the heat, and you don't really cut them open. But like I said, I only used a teaspoon of this for 2 chickens. So, you know, that's enough heat. You know, that's just the perfect amount of sting. That's what I call it, sting. And so this is coming along beautifully. Checking my chicken for tenderness. Should have got a fork. It smells so good. All right, it's going to cook another 10-15 minutes. All right, our brown stew chicken is done. It's cooked down, and you see how that sauce is thickened up. Okay, now we are going to get started on our rice and peas. And as we cook the rice and peas cook, we're going to just prepare our cinnamon baked zucchini, okay? So so we can get all this done in a good time. Look at these beautiful vegetables, this nice gravy. So I'm going to put this in the oven to get it out the way, and we're going to start on our rice and peas. Now we are going to start on our rice and peas. You're going to take 1 can of coconut milk, 2 cans of kidney beans. Do not drain them. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my stove on and stir this around. Oops. And I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of butter. I have 1 tablespoon of sugar. I have a teaspoon of thyme. And I have a tablespoon of jerk seasoning, dry jerk seasoning. And you can use a tablespoon of garlic, but I don't want to bite down on garlic. So I chose to use the garlic paste. I got a tablespoon of garlic paste. And I'm going to get all this in here. And I'm going to add about 4 cups of water, and I'm going to bring all that to a boil. Now, I forgot an onion. You can add a chopped onion. You can add a small chopped onion. I didn't feel like cutting up onions, so I'm using my dehydrated onions. Adding some dehydrated onions, a little bit of that. And I'm going to bring my water up, not 4 cups of water, probably, but I have 3 cups of rice. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. And then I add my rice. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to add my rice. And I'm using Uncle Ben's. Uncle Ben's doesn't take a whole lot of rinse. I only had to rinse this rice once because Uncle Ben's is the only rice that I buy. It's because it doesn't have a whole lot of starch on it, and you only have to rinse that. Just take one rinse on Uncle Ben's. And while that is getting ready to come to a boil, I have 3 plantains. They're yellow, and you don't want them all yellow, black, and just black. And you want to make sure they're still firm. So I'm going to go ahead and peel these and slice these to get them ready while this gets ready to come to a boil. Okay, I've got my plantains sliced. You slice them going slanted, about 1 inch thick. This is 3 long plantains. Remember, don't buy them green. If you buy them green, they're going to set up and turn yellow, and you want them firm, not soft and mushy. Firm, but yellow. Now, for the brown cinnamon plantain, you need brown sugar. There are no measurements to this. It's according to what you like. I'm a diabetic, so I will be using the Splenda Brown Sugar Blend. I'm using the dark, but it also comes in light. Comes in light brown sugar. I'm using the dark, okay? You're going to add a spritz of nutmeg. Like I said, according to what you like. You like a lot of nutmeg, you can add a lot of nutmeg. And you're going to add your cinnamon. If you like a lot of cinnamon, you can add a lot of cinnamon, see? And these are called cinnamon plantain. And I want to taste my cinnamon. And the only thing you have to do with this is just give it a good mix. Yeah, break this brown sugar up just like you would your regular brown sugar. Break that up, mix that all up really, really good. Now you can use oil to coat your plantains, or you can use melted butter. I'm going to melt about 1.5 sticks of butter to coat my plantains. Okay, it's all nice and blended. Okay, and I'm going to put this to the side, and I'm going to nuke me 1.5 sticks of butter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my rice. And my rice and peas. A little overflow. Got to keep this on, turn this down low. I changed pots, guys. Change pots. Okay, I have my melted butter, swishy, swishy, swishy. So I'm going to pour this over my plantains. Guys, my Dexcom keeps going off with these alerts. I know instead of me using 1.5 sticks, I use 1 stick of butter. After I thought about it, I said, no, I don't need no 1.5 sticks. I use 1 stick. And so now that I'm coating, I'm stirring all that together, coating my plantains with the butter, making sure every little plantain gets some goodness. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to dump my mixture in and mix it all around till everything is nicely coated. You know, this is like a side dish. This cinnamon plantain, it's a side dish, but it makes a great dessert as well. You can put some ice cream on top of it. For my fellow diabetics, use Carb Smart. Okay, so this is, look, and here it is. Look how good that looks. Look at that, all that goodness in there. Okay, so I'm going to get these in a pan, and I'm going to pop them in the oven. I'm going to show you my pan. So Good thing I changed, because that other pot, I'm telling y'all, I would have had a mess on my stove. Now, I am going to put these in the oven on 375 for 20 minutes and let them bake uncovered. Okay, nieces and nephews, we are completely done with our Jamaican meal. The only thing left to do is to make the drink sorrel, whatever. I'm telling you, that stuff is good. And it's better when you make it at home than buying it a carton at the store. Definitely not buying it at the restaurant. You charge like $6 for a little 16-ounce cup. When you get ice, you're not getting 16 ounces. But anyway, here are our beautiful plantains, our rice and peas, and our delicious brown stewed chicken. Yummy, yum, yum. Goodness. We're going to plate a plate up, and we shall return. All right, here it is. We got our brown stewed chicken. We've got our rice and peas, and our cinnamon plantain, baked cinnamon plantain. Okay, guys, this is going to be so good. Thank you guys for hanging out with me while we took our trip to Jamaica. I hope you enjoyed these recipes. I hope you try them out. I know the hardest work, if you can find your chicken already cut up, buy that. Or, you don't really have to get whole chicken. You can buy chicken parts. You can buy all legs, all thighs, whatever you want to do, okay? Whatever makes it easy for you. Okay, so until the next time, thank you so much. Again, please hit that like button for your auntie, and tight hugs and kisses and love to all of you. And remember what I say, go be you, but do what? Be great, be you. Until later, see you soon. Bye.